to the Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions podcast with Brent Bailey. And at the tech booth, Jody Cook-Bailey and Luke Cardio. We are growing our circles of connections and knowledge together with encouraging conversations and positive communications. And now, Brent Bailey.
And happy Friday! Yay! Friday! It is Friday, December the 4th, and it's the end of another week. We did it. We made it through another one. Welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. It's Brent Bailey, and I'm so excited to have you with us today as we have another great program scheduled for you. I have author, speaker, pastor, and CEO of an international ministry, MiChelle Ferguson, with us today, and she's going to be coming out here in just a few minutes. Right now, though, let's check over at the booth to Jody and Luke. Guys, how are you guys doing over there?
We're doing good.
Have you got big plans for this weekend, Luke? It's Friday, so
always. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I've got the biggest plans. I'm gonna be in my bedroom, sweatpants, bag of potato chips.
Oh wow.
He's single, ladies.
He's single. Somebody come and rescue him.
Oh, man. Well, I know the weekend has so many plans for so many people. What are your plans for this weekend? Depending on, I guess, where you're watching and listening to us from. Here in Florida, we're wide open, and so I'm sure the parks are going to be packed like they have been. The shoppers are here. A lot of people come to Orlando for the outlet malls for their Christmas shopping, so it is a good full weekend here in Orlando.
And I like to avoid the outlet malls.
Yeah, it's just nuts right now. It's absolutely
crazy.
The worst time to go.
It is. But maybe we'll hit a park or two.
We might.
Weekend.
We try and do that on the weekends.
They have Christmas, themed stuff there, and so it's fun.
It is true.
Yeah.
Have you got your Christmas shopping done yet, or have you started? Let us know in the comments below as you click the share button. Answer the question in the comment section below. Are you doing your Christmas shopping? Have you got it done yet? I actually did do a little bit yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I was going to say, how about have you started yet?
I did. I started yesterday.
I started looking.
You did. All right. It's funny because that term is window shopping.
Yes, but it's online.
But if you're on a Mac, that doesn't work.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
But if you're on a PC, you're still window shopping.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it online? Is it window shopping or is it wish list shopping?
Well, it could be. It could be considered Windows though if you're on a PC.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on now,
that's
keep
good.
up there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Here's a good question: Have you been able to find a PS5 yet? We are looking.
If
like
you
crazy.
have, let us know.
I have found several. I have found several on Facebook Marketplace, but I don't know if they're real because they're priced like the price.
Okay,
Right.
so I just read this that because Xbox, everybody's saying Xbox, like technically, if you look at the specs, has like a little bit more powerful of a machine. But I guess PS5, they're going to release a Pro Edition.
Oh, don't even talk about it. It's probably already sold out before they've even released it.
I'm just going to say, I noticed, because when they first came out, those prices were outrageous. They were crazy expensive. Because everybody got the pre-orders, put them on eBay immediately.
Oh my gosh!
And I saw one did sell for $13,000.
Oh my word! That is so.
I don't even know why.
It's not even worth it.
$13,000. One I know.
That's ridiculous.
But I noticed that most of them are going for about $1,000. But the longer this goes on, and the closer we get to Christmas, and the restocks start to catch up, then it means the prices online start coming down. And I found several on Facebook today, right at the $400 price range. It was the disc edition. And I'm wondering, is it real?
Is it real?
Because they're in different parts of the country. One was in Detroit, where our guest is from today. We're also, there was some in Washington, D.C., some here in Florida. So I'm kind of leery, like, what kind of assurances does Facebook offer if we buy some from there?
Did you read the dimensions?
I mean, it's a picture of it in the box, still sealed. So
it could be a picture.
I saw a guy, like a meme. I don't know if it was a meme or if it was real, but it was a picture of a guy that was like, "Man, I really should have checked the dimensions on Amazon first." And it was him holding a PS5 that was like this big.
And listen, those of you, you don't want to buy one from Wish.
No.
Those of you who are parents and are grandparents, or your kids are asking for this. You need to be diligent about it if you're going to find it, because they're sold out everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right. And speaking of that, I did notice this is for some. Again, we like to be informative to parents, especially with kids around our age, our kids' age. Fortnite is like the craze, especially amongst younger kids, and they have started a subscription service, which I think is to us is a great thing, because we easily spend, we kind of give it as a reward at the end of the week. If the kids have a good week, they did their homework, got their grades right and everything, we'll buy them the small bundle package of V-Bucks.
That's
$10 or something like that.
Yeah.
They now have a subscription service. It's $12 a month. You get 1,000 V-Bucks every month, and the battle pass, which is something that they need to unlock levels and things like that.
Those of you who have no idea what
I'm not really sure either how it works.
For all the normal people out there,
for all you parents that are having kids, it's only $12 a month, so it is pretty cool. Something that is it's working for you.
Yeah, and I even told our son Peyton, I said, I'll take it away from you. I'll cancel the subscription if you don't do well in school.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't. I'm like, I'll take the credit card off.
But we can just turn off your PlayStation or your Switch or whatever you're going to be playing on.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So
let's move on. Let's talk about something else. This is really cool. Starbucks is giving away free coffee to frontline workers throughout the month of December right now. So don't care if you want to get into the politics with Starbucks. We don't care.
No.
This is cool. If you're a frontline worker, you're working in the ER, you're a first responder, anything like that, you're getting free coffee at Starbucks right now.
Yes.
So bravo to Starbucks.
take advantage of it.
And you folks that are frontline workers, you deserve it anyway.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. The
Yep.
other cool thing I thought was pretty cool this week is the McRib is back.
Again.
It's that time of year for the McRib to come back. And so it is back at your local McDonald's. I saw my cousin posted on last night. She had a picture of one, and it said, all capital letters with like 7 exclamation points, "It's on!" So
the McRib is perpetually.
What do you think
always
about it?
Coming back?
What's your thought about the McRib? Because I remember having them as not elementary school, high school, in the cafeteria. They weren't called the McRib, but it was the McRib,
Okay.
and they were pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, they had something similar at my high school too. That it wasn't bad. I would never buy it.
I can honestly say I have never had a McRib.
Oh, they're not bad.
But
Yeah, they're
I
not
kind of have to be in the mood for ribs anyway, and so
yeah,
I
just
don't
think it's
know.
funny
Just-
that every time you see signage or anything about a
Go
McRib,
crazy.
it's back.
It's back. I know, everybody goes crazy.
yeah. It's only back for like a month of the year. So, and this is the time for it. So the McRib is back. All right. What national day is it
National
today,
Day.
Jody?
So let's just continue on the food. It's National Cookie Day. National Cookie Day.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So, it's the holidays.
It is. It's
I always
perfect.
like to think, okay, on the weekends I can make cookies, but I really need to get back at making them from scratch. I love the chocolate chip cookies that I make. They're really good.
We have one of the best cookie places, like in the nation, really.
Well, you need to.
Here in Orlando.
Where is that?
It's Insomnia. Have you ever been there?
No, and you need
Florida?
to tell us about that. Where is
Yeah,
it?
it's downtown. It's downtown Orlando.
Oh, see, we don't.
Insomnia.
Insomnia cookies.
Insomnia.
Oh my
cookies.
God!
All right, we're gonna.
I
go.
went there this past weekend. And I got an ice cream sandwich, and it was like freshly baked cookies, and then like the ice cream, they make it right in front of you. Oh, it was so good.
Wow.
With the warm cookies.
This is
and
the
ice
show
cream.
with the most food conversations.
That's right. We should
have.
have named it "Stopping for Dinner."
Yeah,
Stopping for
exactly.
breakfast.
Driving through. For
Anyway.
Yeah.
What else is going on, Jody?
It's Faux Fur Day, so if you own any coats that
Have the fur.
and you think it's real, but it's probably not. And I'm
Vegan
telling
fur.
you, this week would have been good to have a faux fur
In
or any
Florida,
kind of a
you'd
fur
think
in
we're-
Florida.
yeah, we're in-
I know
yeah,
it sounds
up north
awful, but
somewhere.
I mean, it's, we've been waking up to 35 degrees. And that's very cold.
Somebody posted it the other day that said, "Hey, Northerners, come get your weather. It's drunk and standing on my lawn."
Exactly.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, listen, that's what's going on in the country today. I'm so excited to have our guest with us. So let's take a minute and expand your search. Today, I'm very excited to have our guest on the program. I've had the pleasure of knowing for a number of years. She is from the great city of Detroit, Michigan. She is a wife, a mommy, a preacher, a musician, and somebody who keeps it real for God. She is the CEO of an international ministry. She has won awards for her flute playing. She is a graduate of Rhema. She is executive pastor of Word of Faith International Christian Center in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm so excited that she had the time for us today to come on the program and be with us. Please welcome MiChelle Ferguson. Hey, MiChelle. Great to have you with us.
So glad to be here.
First of all, it's been a while. We haven't seen each other in quite a bit. How are you? How have things been? What's life like in Detroit during COVID?
Things have been good. God has been good. Obviously, 2020 has been a challenging year, and especially considering all the challenges we've had in the nation. It seems like this year, Satan's definitely been trying to pile this thing on, like one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. But through it all, God has still been faithful, and we've had so many testimonies of people having full restoration even during this year. And of course, sometimes I find myself like a little surprised, and then I realize, okay, that's the God we serve. It's like how it looks. If you keep your faith high and you keep attached to God, He'll do some things even during the darkest seasons.
Amen. So have you guys been back in person services there yet?
Yes.
Or I know that Michigan was kind of iffy for a while. So you guys are back in the building?
Yes, we are. Actually, a couple of churches here went ahead and challenged some of the rulings. And so Michigan churches have been allowed to operate since May. So we've been going strong since May.
Awesome. And have your crowds come back, or is there's still a lot of hesitancy? Because I know here in Orlando, our crowd is still a little bit hesitant, but we have an older crowd. So it's a little different in everywhere I talk to.
Yeah, I would say we're about the same. We probably have maybe 60% people are probably still online, and about 40% of people in the building. And we've had some really cool type of services. We've had a couple, like for Halloween, we call it Harvest Fest for the kids. We actually bought a big drive-in movie screen and played some movies for them there. We're doing our Christmas production as a drive-in movie sort of deal. We've done
cool.
Some outdoor kind of drive-up prayer services, and those have been extremely successful. So you can really see when we do some outdoor things, the difference versus the people that come in. But the great thing is we have a very, very large sanctuary, and the ceiling is super duper high. It's a 5,000 seater. And so it's very, very, very easy to socially distance, especially with the amount of people. And, at one point we expanded the amount of services that we were having just to be able to, make all of that fit and comfortable. So actually, it's been better than I thought it's been a lot better than I thought it would be. And of course, we've had some people who are upset that we have the services, and we have people who are upset that we shut down at all, or we don't have more services. And so,
Yeah, I understand that. I think some of those folks as relatives. I'm just kidding. I think that I've been there and faced that myself. All right, so let's talk a little bit about a couple things. I know that this year's been a year of adversity for everybody across the board, and I know that in your own life you've had to overcome some adversity at times in your life. How have you faced it? How much have you faced? And tell us a little bit about that. How'd you overcome it and move on?
Well, yes, I would obviously, like many, I've been under attacks. And I think one of the biggest things for me was personally, in my personal life, I was single forever. For all the single Christians out there, I was single forever. And it wasn't just being single, it was, I call it being super single, where it seemed like there were no options. So by the time I got into my mid 30s, I was like, okay, God. Of course, all the challenges of that. And I was in the ministry and I was preaching. I was like, it's not sexy to be a woman preacher. We think it's sexy for the men preacher. We preach that, baby. But the women, they're like, ugh, and so I'm like, messing me up here. And then I got diagnosed with a rare form of cancer in my late 20s. And I thought, okay, this is great, because I remember watching some movie and where the woman didn't want to tell the guy, she was like, just don't fall in love with me. And then you find out at the end of the movie why she kept saying that to him. And I was talking to my grandmother one day and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, how am I going to tell some man on top of that? And so I really fought a lot of that for a while. And then finally I met a guy. Of course, I know why it seemed like there was nobody out there. A guy went all the way to England to bring me my husband, and we met. But one of the things I was concerned about the most was, hey, I want to be able to have kids, and I want to be able to have a kid. And, I was getting up there in age. And by the time I turned like 38, 39, I was married by that point. But then, of course, I get to the doctor, they give bad reports and all these different sorts of things. And then I get pregnant and then had a couple of negative experiences there and 3 little babies in heaven. And I would say those things kind of felt like they were like this extension of things. Just seemed like as soon as the sun starts shining, here comes these massive storms. And I really just felt like I got to the place where I was just like, you know what, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And I finally had my miracle rainbow baby, Lucas. And it was about 4 weeks. I'm old school, and I'm kind of the school like, hey, listen, if you have a baby, don't come out the house with the baby till you're 6 weeks old, baby 6 weeks old. And so this one particular night, he was 4 weeks old. And I said, okay, I'm just going to run to the baby store, no big deal. And pick up some extra snuggy pajamas for him to help him sleep better. All the new moms know what that's like. And we're in the parking lot minding our business, and this SUV comes out of the nowhere and just hits us. And I remember just that bang, that sound. He was in a stroller, and fortunately I had him in one of those strollers where you click the car seat in, so it provided a lot of great protection for him. But I remember at that point when we got to the hospital and just kind of reviewing everything, and I was already dealing with a little postpartum, and I wasn't happy about my birth experience. I had been reading and believing God for certain things that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be. And the Lord said this to me. He said, you don't want to be like the children of Israel. And I've always thought the children of Israel were just a bunch of jerks. I'm like, here you are, God has delivered you through plagues, all this different stuff, and then brought you out with silver and gold. But it seemed like every turn they were complaining about something. Every time, oh, we don't have any food, let's go back. Oh, we don't have this. Or Moses been gone too long, let's build it up. One thing after the other. And I'm thinking after the Red Sea parts, you should be good to go with everything that comes your way. Like, you did it before, you'll do it again. And God said to me, sometimes we open doors for attacks when we don't learn this one principle. And this is what helps me get through every adversity, everything I face. And that is to learn to be thankful right where you are. And I'm talking about on purpose thankfulness. There are times where I'm dealing with so much stuff, I'm literally thanking God for my eyelashes, eyebrows, eardrums, fingernails. You spend time doing that hair that I can hear, that I can see, that I can feel, that I can walk, that I can talk, my toes, my toenails. All of these different things that you can take for granted, just like the children of Israel, and put yourself in position to disqualify yourself from the answer and victories that come from that. So, everywhere I go, I keep trying to push this to people. It is the cure for the depression. It is the cure for all things, is to find a way to remain thankful. Because I was, right before we got hit by that car, I was dealing with a lot of that postpartum depression. It was so ironic that once we survived that accident and I started reflecting all the things that I was depressed about, that I was crying about, that didn't go the way I wanted it to be, the lack of sleep or whatever, actually became a joy in my life, because I realized as hard as I fought for this baby, I am not about to let the devil come in here and steal my joy and steal my child. And you got to get dogmatic in adversity and say, you know, I'm not about to let the devil come in here and take anything in my life. The Bible says the thief be found, let him pay sevenfold.
Come on
and
now.
So I learned I had to be thankful and then just get an attitude about fighting for my stuff. Because, you know, I'm from the hood, I'm from the D. If you decided you were going to try and break up into my house, you know, my whole house is, we're going to defend. I mean, I'm going to call some people and, you know, we got some extra weapons or whatever we need to do to defend our house, our natural things. But how come we don't do that with our lives and with our spirit and
So
with
good.
what we hear and feel? So that for me has been how I've gotten through. And that's really even helped me this year. You know, I had a couple friends that passed and one of them very close to my age and just some other things going on this year. And some of those nights, that's what I did. I would pull out my, go on YouTube and Maverick City Music that got me through some stuff. And just start thanking and praising God for that which what we absolutely do have. And now I tell you, it you know, God inhabits the praises of his people and it changes things instantly on the spot and keeps you in remembrance of who you really serve.
Amen. Amen. Let's shift gears just a little bit and talk a little bit about your book. Your book is called Be Spectacular, and obviously this is something you're writing from experience, that you can live a life in spite of everything telling you can't be. You can be spectacular. So I'm assuming that some of this was written from these experiences that you're talking about, but what are some things people can do to step out and start living that life like that?
I think the biggest thing is to recognize who you are and that you already have it going on. I think so many people miss out on things because you're always looking for the spectacular and failing to realize that you already are spectacular. I mean, sometimes I go to the mall and I see, and it gets on my nerves, I see in the back of the parking lot, you see all these really nice cars and they're parked across, you know, 2-3 lanes or, you know, and it makes me mad. And then, you know, but every now and then I realize that they got it going on with their car. Their car is valuable. So they're willing to fight more, walk a little bit further, be a little bit more convenient if they to protect their asset. And I think that's the one big thing that people really got to go back to, is that Jesus died to give you your self-worth. Mm. And when you don't know what you have, or you don't know, you get caught up into distractions, you won't protect something that you don't feel is valuable. You won't make something better that you don't feel is valuable. I know sometimes in working with teenagers, I tell parents the first sign that your child is dealing with stuff is when they stop bathing and stop doing those natural things. You know that their value is dropped because they don't even really feel the need to even go beyond that. And so we really deal a lot with helping people to discover, develop, and celebrate who God has already created you to be, and stop getting into the place of, and social media makes it so easy to just always be in a place of comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I get off social media, I have to reset because I'm watching everybody and their snapshots and the high points of their life. And if you do that, you can fail to realize what you already have. I mean, we're totally living in the last days, and you don't put your scrubs in the last days. When you're looking at the playoffs and it's getting close, the best players are on the field.
Come on.
God has confidence in you to have you here in the last days. I mean, not David, not Abraham, not these people.
Oh, that's
Paul.
good.
You for a purpose, which means you have what you need. And so if you start there and agree with what God says about you and get connected, and that means you got to keep, you know, with everything and society, everything you look around is telling you you're not enough. You're made in the image and likeness of God. And the interesting thing is, one of the things we shout the most about with God is that he's more than enough. So you got it going on. You start there and watch what God can do with your life. And you get into agreement with him about who you are.
Wow. That's so good. The scrubs are not in for the last quarter. That's so good. This is MiChelle Ferguson, and she has a book entitled Be Spectacular. We're going to throw it up on the screen one more time. There it is. You can pick up a copy of that at michelleferguson.org. You want to follow along with some of her posts on social media. We also have her information coming up there on the screen right now. I think it's I was watching on, I think it was Instagram one day, and you posted a sermon that you were preaching at the church there about the ministry of helps. And I was so glad that I follow you, because at that point I actually messaged you and said, can I get a copy of that, because it was so good. And right there it is. She puts a lot of great material out. There it is. It's MiChelleFerguson.org. On Facebook, it's at MiChelle Ferguson Ministries. On Instagram, at MiChelle Ferguson. And on Twitter, at MiChelle Fergus _. All right. So then she also has a YouTube channel, MiChelle Ferguson Ministries. I promise you that the stuff that she is going to be placing up there for you to follow along with is life-changing, and obviously has a very strong message for, for your self-image. Michelle, we're so grateful for your time today. We know that you've got a busy schedule with running the ministry, but also for being a wife and a mom. And I know that that baby boy of yours is there probably watching the interview. And so we're going to let you get back to him as quick as you can. But thank you again so much for being with us today. Give our love to Christina and your mom and dad and your brother, Andre, and tell everybody hi for us. And we appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. So glad to be here. And I'll certainly let everyone know that you said hello. And enjoy our weather out there.
We're going to send that right back up to you. Okay. That's MiChelle Ferguson, everybody. And now let's take a moment and stop for directions. You know, while Michelle was talking there, I couldn't help but be reminded of the words of Jesus. He said, in this world, you will have tribulation. But then he said, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. And that is so awesome to know going into something that the things that you are coming up against, Jesus has already overcome. He never told us that weapons wouldn't be formed. He said that they wouldn't prosper. And I don't know who's watching today and who needs to hear this today, but you do matter, and you are important to God. You are so important that He overcame what you're facing. He already overcame it for you. That means inside of you have the answer that you're looking for. It's in the person and relationship that you have with Him, and that's Jesus Christ. If you have Him in your heart today, you have Him in your life today, you just need now to catch up to the knowledge of that and the revelation of that so that you can walk in your value. I promise that when you start to walk in that value, your life begins to take on that dimension that He created you to have, a dimension of victory, a dimension of peace, a dimension of power. And when you walk in that, your life just completely changes in every area. Are you ready to start walking in that? I pray that you are, because if you are, your life's going to look different. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. I'm so grateful to Jody and to Luke for coming and being with us today and running a great show. My real big thanks go out to MiChelle Ferguson for being with us and just dropping some major truth bombs on us today to inspire us and encourage us to go on here in 2020. Until next time, I hope you found what you were looking for as you took the time to expand your search and stop for directions. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @ExpandingYourSearch on Facebook and Instagram and @ExpandingSearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We're available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand your search and stop for directions.